podcast is not meant for everyone. Listen at your own risk.
Welcome to the podcast for dads trying to find their way in life as a father and a person in recovery. This is the Recovery Dads podcast with Corey Winfield, Justin Burke, and Mitchell O'Brien.
June 18th, 2024. My name's Corey Winfield.
And I'm Mitchell O'Brien.
Right on cue that time.
I'm Justin Burke, and I'm not here because I got work to do.
That's Justin. Or actually, I should have hit the little sound thing, but whatever. The voice changer. Yeah, it is the Recovery Dads podcast, fresh off of Father's Day weekend. What's up?
It was banging over for me.
Yeah, you got a sweet text from your son. Oh, I bet that made you feel so warm.
It did. That's the funny part. I was like, oh, he remembered.
This is your, 14th Father's Day?
This is my 14th Father's Day. Well, I mean, I've been around for like 37 of them, but you know, this is the 14th that this is my.
As the father.
Yeah.
Who's the father? How is it going? Does it
Yeah.
get better? Does it get worse? I mean,
My Father's Days have always been a little lackluster just because of the situation of, you know, it's just pretty much just him and me and sometimes my family and he doesn't care. You know, holidays, like whatever. If he's
I'm not
not
spending my money on you, Dad. I got weed vapes to buy.
yeah. But he's actually at his mom's this time because they take him for a little bit in the summertime. And yeah, so that was kind of weird. But he did. He texted me and it was, yo, happy Father's Day and shit. And I was like, you know what? That's effort. I'll take it.
You gonna hit him back with, back at you, bro.
No. I hit him back with, oh no, or like, oh, you remembered, with like a happy cry face. And I was like, hey, thanks, man. And that was it. That was our interaction for the day.
Well, Parker didn't say shit to me, so
Rude.
he did spit up on my shirt, like a good one. You know, those good spit ups that
So
it's
you
like paste.
You could say that he gave you something for Father's Day.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
And I just wore the shirt all day because it was clean. I just put it on. It was, and I was like, okay, then that's my Father's Day gift from Parker.
I mean, it's more the thought that counts. You know, when people give what they can, you know.
And Marnie had a big hand in it too. So, you know, it's like, you know how moms, my mom used to take me, all right, go buy your dad something, I guess.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I was like, okay.
You know, see, I've never had that because I think my mom used to do that too.
I want to make sure when Parker gets old enough, I do tell him this is what Daddy needs for Father's Day. This right here. And I'll send it to him in a link on Amazon.
Isn't that something you tell your wife?
But I'll tell Parker because Marnie will be like, well, I don't know. Let's just get. No, Marnie's pretty good with gifts though. But I just want to make sure I get it when I want it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's not what I was saying. I was saying, you know,
Parker
this is
will be
what,
like,
this is what
Mommy.
Daddy needs for Father's Day.
Marnie will be like, well, we're going to get your dad some cologne. And he'll be like, Mommy, that's not what he wants.
True.
Well, how do you know? Well, this is what he sent me. It'll be like a ball gag. Some whips and chains.
I was thinking, I thought you were going with like an XLR modulator 4000 or something like that. A new lens for your camera.
He wants this kind of lubricant or something.
What is an Exitic swing?
Yes. I love you, son, but you gotta do the work for Daddy.
Oh, Parker, I hope you listen to these someday.
It's gonna be like, what? I wonder what age he'll be when he actually gets it. And he's like, oh my God. I guess my dad. How'd this happen?
That's going to be I think it's going to be a life shattering experience. You grow up and I don't know if you were this way, but there was a certain point of innocence where you just thought that your parents were innocent. You know, they were these perfect people in your life.
Yeah.
And then when you get older, you start to learn that they're not that way. Yeah.
Nobody's perfect.
And it's like the whole world kind of breaks around you for a second.
Well, keeping with that theme, I told Marnie the other day, it's like, I'm going to talk in a different accent around him until he's like 18. It's like, yo, hey, man, go get Daddy a plate. And like that's how I'll talk to him the whole time until he's 18. Then on his 18th birthday, I'm like, surprise! This is real daddy right here.
I know a guy who
I'm like,
grew
what
up.
you mean?
I know a guy who grew up in the South, but his parents were from up here, and he spent his first 15 years of his life in the South, like the Southern drawl South, and then came back up here to move back with family, and had like the perfect no accent, no Southern accent, and they're like, "Where are you from?" And he's like, "Something Alabama," and they're like, "You don't have an accent?" And he's like, "Yeah, no, just very sheltered life from my Northern Michigan parents, and never took hold."
That was very smart of them.
Yeah,
Kind of shelter.
I think it was an accident, but
Yeah, I thought it'd be funny though.
I've always wanted to have one of those traumatic brain injuries where you wake up and you speak a different language or accent. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was that. I think it was a English lady who got hit in the head somehow and then woke up with like a old Chinese lady voice.
Well, I'm not sure what that is, but
Well, I was like, I can't even do it. But imagine a lady at China buffet.
okay, we're not stereotyping anyone here, but you're just saying it's the truth.
This is something that happened
With
in the world.
China buffet here in Traverse City,
Yeah.
you know they do have a Asian kind of dialect to their
Drawl.
Yeah, drawl to their English, which this could be said about someone from the South, which you just said.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you know, it's not that we're just being realist here and calling it how we see it. We're just a couple dads in recovery.
Damage control.
Yeah, that's all we do here.
If broken English from the country to our south is called Spanglish, what is broken English from an Asian country?
Ebonics.
Ebonics? Is that Eubonics? Is the other one?
It's Asbonics.
Asbonics?
Yeah.
Because it's Asia?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
That's just me making it up,
Okay.
but I think that would be a good one.
Asbonics.
Yeah. How's that somewhere the other day, and I made someone chuckle with a very insensitive comment. And, yeah, I know, right? Because it's like there's so many different languages now across the earth, and a lot of people in America take Spanish, you know, in school, and some schools require you to take Spanish. And it's like, well, I don't remember who I was talking to. If it was my dad or somebody, because I'll go Ebonics mode on them, like I did last night at the Human Rights Commission and stuff. I started talking to this woman. I'm like, you be knowing. She just looked at me. This woman, she's sweet. I like her. She's
I know
probably
you guys got me talking like that too.
75, and I'm like, you be knowing. She just looked at me like, what? I'm like, don't act like you don't be knowing. And the other guy, Jason, was sitting there, and he's like the guy that like is like an official person from the government. And he's just looking at me, and I'm like, you know, like I'm just like overboard with it. But like, Ebonics should be taught too, then, you know, because I'll talk to my dad or some other people, and like they just have no idea what I'm talking about. It's like,
I didn't talk like that at all before I started working with you guys, and now it's ingrained.
yeah,
My DNA has changed.
you're welcome. Giving you some culture is what we're giving you there. But yeah, so Father's Day, though, back to the topic, I guess. We quickly go off the rails on every podcast that I'm on. But Father's Day, though, you say it's just kind of like, it's another day, kind of like nothing real.
No, I mean, I usually do laundry on Sundays, so I did that. I'm a single father, so I went on a date and got stood up.
Damn.
Yeah. So, but it wasn't bad. It's like, whatever.
Well, yeah, in fairness, you weren't stood up. She just was allergic to cats, and then a cat had walked across her front yard, and so like she couldn't breathe, so she went to the emergency room.
Forgot her phone.
And forgot her phone.
So we're seeing how it plays out. I don't want to be that guy. No. I mean, this is really no skin off my back. I'm not going out of my way or anything. So, because I did that day, and now I'm like, well, we'll see how it works out. But other than that, this is whatever. It doesn't. I can see where, and it would have in the past affected me in a pretty rough way. And originally I was like, this sounds like a decent way to spend my Father's Day, find a new mommy for my kid, you know?
Maybe she could sense that.
Maybe. And so she was
Maybe
like, I got to stick my face in this
that.
cat so I don't have to go.
Or maybe there was no cat, Mitch.
Maybe
she just was like, you know what? It's Father's Day.
The visual was more funny with the cat.
Everybody knows when you go on a date with somebody on Father's Day, you got to put out. Is that a rule?
I wasn't one that I was holding.
I'm new to the Father's Day thing, man. I don't really know. But I don't know. Maybe that's how she grew up.
Maybe. I don't know.
Because there's stuff that birthday special, you know what I'm saying? So maybe there's like a Father's Day special stuff, and that's how I don't know. I'm just trying to lighten the letdown.
This is how I've been saying it to people, and this is what I was talking about earlier about how I talk because of you guys. That's what I've been telling women is like, I be out here looking for a wife. Mm-hmm. So I try not to bring up the sex stuff right away.
Well, that's what wives do.
They do sex?
No.
Yep. Yep, they do.
That's part of it, but I want to know this person's personality. So I want to get to know that first and then take
Right. See, maybe she didn't know that, and she just thought you were just trying to get some Father's Day booty.
See, that's why I think there's more credence to her story because we had talked about it already.
Oh, the Father's Day booty?
No,
The fact that you're not trying to just jump around town to put notches in your belt.
Right.
And if you're really, really, really looking for a relationship, you cannot go put notches in your belt. That's not what it's about.
Yeah, that's what I did in my 20s. And
You have to draw that line and go, look, I'm not settling, and I'm also not rushing into something. Mm-hmm. And then at least spend some time with them and know, hey, this one's I think I could spend the rest of my life with, or I think I could raise a child with this one. So I did it with Marnie.
But that's like why it's no sweat off my back right now because like maybe she was being honest.
Yeah.
And I was single before this happened, and I'm still single now. So what's it matter? I don't really care. And maybe she was lying, and then I did whatever, move on. So
Her loss. She could have had a nice meal.
Nice meal.
No
Nice
pressure for
man.
sex.
Yeah, there's definitely no pressure. That's not something I'm into.
Enjoy some time. Quality time.
So I drove an hour and a half.
You know how you really get to know somebody, Mitch? If you really want to get to know somebody,
How?
have sex with them.
I'm going to need an explanation.
Yep. I'm telling you, I'm right with. No, I'm just kidding. If you really want to know if you want to be with a woman, you got to lay with a woman. Be my advice to Parker one day. Son, you're 7 years old. You ain't in love. But Daddy, I am. Nope.
Sounds like a True Grit quote.
You want to be with a woman, you got to lay with a woman. I just talk like that to him the whole time.
Nick Nolte voice.
Yeah. Now your mother, did she tell you how we met? Let me tell you then. She was at rehab. What's rehab? It's a place where people who are addicted to drugs and stuff go. Well, see, Daddy was working in there, Wait, you were working at a rehab and you met Mommy? Yup.
Isn't that an ethical disaster?
What is that word you just used, boy? Where'd you learn that? Ethical, I learned it at school. Last time you going to that damn school, making up fake words, don't even make no damn sense. What's the name of your school? The Burke Institute? Oh, hell no. Oh, that old decapitated thing. I should find that out and put it.
Since he's not here, we should have played the song.
It's not too late.
He'd kill us.
Well, we do have time to fill. He's not here, and we need to fill this segment with something.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
But how mad do you think Justin will be?
Does he get a opinion on if he's mad or not since he wasn't here? There was a point when we were like, we're going to do Recovery Dad's podcast. Mm-hmm. And you're like, okay, don't schedule anything for Tuesday mornings.
That's when we'll do it.
And so this week. Like, I got to ride.
That rule just got, in week 2, that rule got
dilapidated.
It's got dilapidated. Some people might think we're picking on Justin.
Dilapidated.
Which, I mean, we are, but he picks on us. It's a mutual, it's how we show love to each other.
Yeah. And there's this AI thing called Sunno.
Which is hilarious
Suno.
that you found this all on your own, because I've been sending him and other of my friends these different kinds of songs that people are making with AI over the last week or two. And then yesterday, I hear you playing with
Suno. And it's a website where you can make AI songs. You just type in any little thing, little sentence about someone or something, and you can even put in the style of country rap, let's say. And I did that, well, for you, and I did one for myself, which was horrible. And then I did one for Justin, but I did Justin's first, and I don't know if we'll play the whole thing, but
they nailed it.
Yeah.
Dilapidated.
Okay, so let's just hear just a little bit, because Justin, we're not trying to make fun of you or anything, but here's Justin's song. It's called Just in Trouble.
Justin's vocab, horror show, Freddy and Jason. Words tumble out, cats running from the basement. Granny's knitting, yarn unravel like a thriller. Folks dive in for cover, word blizzard chilling. He's saying got no nothing, grammar disaster. Stumbling over words, trip, fall faster.
Dilapidated.
Mouth wide open, mind shut down, spook the town. Reading Webster's backwards, circus clown. Justin got enunciation, worse than a ghost.
Dilapidated.
Phantom syllables haunt, shaking up the coast.
Dilapidated.
Vocabulary horror, make you scream and shout.
Dilapidated.
Every time he speaks, world's turning inside out.
Dilapidated.
Culture twang, rap flow, vocab misfit. Words so twisted, commit a horror flick. Speech, a haunted barn, creaky cold breeze. Stumble out the mouth, got you down on your knees.
Dilapidated.
Saying ain't never gonna Texans hit you right up north. Can't stand the sound that patience morph. Bust out a dictionary, Justin's kryptonite. Invisible ink, words vanish in the night.
Dilapidated.
Every conversation, folks baffled and confused. Language massacre, grammar battered and bruised. Justin speaking style.
I think we get it. Yeah.
It couldn't have been better. I don't think they could have done better. The best part is I would listen to that song.
Yeah. That's pretty good. That could be a hit.
They make them scream and shout.
Dictionary is kryptonite. Every conversation leaves people just confused.
Dilapidated.
It's true, though.
I'm snorting over here. I know, Justin, we love you, dude.
We do.
But
We
when
do
you're
this
not
because
here-
we love you. Yeah.
When you're not here, man, I mean, it's fair game, I think.
You could have listened to the rules and not scheduled yourself work this morning, but here we are.
I wonder if he's going to listen to this on the ride back and be like, I wish I would have played the whole thing. It's bumping in the vehicle today. Oh, so back to Father's Day again. I don't know how many times we're going to circle back to Father's
Well, I
Day.
mean, Justin's a father, so
Yeah, and he told me that, not to be speaking out of turn here, but his daughter got him a record player.
oh yeah,
And he went out and bought Nirvana's album,
which
the Nevermind album.
he has one with the baby on it.
Yeah, which
Doesn't
is
have the
it's a
baby on it
great
anymore.
album.
Yeah,
But
I was never a Nirvana fan, but
it's a good album. It's a pretty good album. It's a good one. So that was Justin's report. Cool.
yeah, just the
good feeling for you,
brat
bud.
corner or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Should we just do his report right now then?
yeah. There we go.
Well, I still have to talk about my Father's Day.
Oh, yeah.
This is the problem here. Yeah, my Father's Day was interesting. My father was actually in town.
Oh,
So we got the little generational thing going on with him, me, and then little Parker. So we had a little picture in front of a pancake house, just like every other family does. I'm like, can we go to a park or something? They're like, just right out here is good. I'm like, pictures are forever. I said that, and Marnie kind of looked at me, and they're like, no, right out front's good. Okay.
They're like diamonds.
Yeah, whatever.
So you guys out for Flapjack Shack, or did you guys go to the house?
Yeah, no, that first one. Whatever. It was all good. But
That
no,
view, though, you be slicing into your pancake. Got that view. It's a good place.
Oh, low income housing? Yeah. Yep.
I went the other direction.
Oh, Burger King. Yeah. American flag. Okay. Because at first they set us in this little booth that's made for like people that aren't fat.
Yeah, not us.
All those stupid skinny people. And I mean, even my dad's not a big guy at all. And he couldn't even really move his arms. Like we felt like little T-Rexes in there, like, like we're battling. And like, we need to get a new spot. And I'm like, I wonder if they put us here because of the view. And I look out there and my stepmom and dad look out and I was like, yeah, you got low income housing right here. Yeah.
If you look past the Burger King and the low income housing, there's some nice
trees.
landscape.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. You see the Barnes Park across the way. It's,
I guess so.
nice.
If you can overlook the
I was sitting there one day.
the gritty details.
Eagle flew by. It was very nice. With that Burger King American flag.
It's been perched right on top of the American flagpole.
Burger King. The Meyer parking lot.
Yeah, where the bear hang out. It's the bear hangout.
I actually have a picture somewhere. I can't find it right now. I know it exists somewhere. But it's my great-grandmother and then my grandfather, which was her oldest son, and then my mother, which was my grandfather's oldest daughter, and then me, which is my mother's oldest son, and then my son, which is my oldest son. So that's 5 generations of oldests all in one picture. It's crazy.
It's pretty unique. Were you in front of Flapjack Shack or whatever?
We're in our rundown living room. But
Pictures are forever. No one said that before you took it.
I think it was one of my brother's graduation parties. They were taking pictures without him.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the dad gave me a card. I cried a little bit. It was my first ever Father's Day card.
Yeah, let him get to 14. You stop crying.
Yeah, it was weird. The texts from other people just were annoying. I don't know if you feel that way.
I did, and then I only text you because this is your first one,
Right.
and other people were texting me. People that I wouldn't normally text with were texting me.
Not your date, but other people.
Well, we were talking at the beginning of the day before the
Cat got her.
cat exposure.
No.
Cat got your tongue. But yeah, so I was like, I better send him. I don't want to, come off being a dick. So I did that, and so I didn't mean to add the annoyance because at first I was just like, just don't. Well, in Father's Day for me personally, I said it a little bit earlier. It's never really been a big thing. There's been nobody to coordinate it, and I don't feel like I should make my son do something special for me.
Right.
That just feels weird. So it's always ended up being just the same old day. And this isn't the first time where he's been at his mom's instead of with me, so because it fallen in the beginning of summer. And it's not that big of a deal for me. Everybody's like, Happy Father's Day. I was like, Happy Laundry Sunday. Like, that's what's going on here.
Like, we didn't even know. We didn't plan because he was the last grandparent to see Parker.
Yeah.
And we didn't even plan it like, hey, it's Father's Day. Come on up. Like, I planned recovery stories like a training or a practice for the people that are doing the recovery stories so that everybody's on point, which we'll see. I don't even care at this point. They can run up there and I really don't care. I'm going to turn off their mic after 5 minutes. If they're done, they're done. That's what it is. Move on. Next. I'll even yell it from the back. Next.
Well, we're doing the whole training them to. Mitch is going to stand in the back and wave at your ass when you're getting up to the time there.
But that's more for the 217 recovery podcast. But back to so I didn't even know. So I'm like planning things, and then someone pointed out, "Hey, that's Father's Day," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I just think it's ironic, and it's funny how God works in your life like that. Like the fact that he would have that on Father's Day. And the last Father's Day I spent with my father, was 8, 9, maybe 6. I don't remember. Like, that's how long ago it was.
Yeah.
And so to be able to spend that day with him and with my son, Marnie, and my son, Parker, and just to kind of be there in the moment, it was pretty cool, man. And my dad texted me yesterday, and he's like, thanks again for, such a great Father's Day. And all we did was eat breakfast and take a picture. Most of the stuff that we did was, the day before. But just that time spent with, Parker and Marnie and me, meant a lot to him.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool. And to build that relationship back with my father again is nice. And it's
So were you
a lot
saying,
better than holding grudges.
Were you
Say that.
saying 6 to 8 to 9 years ago, or when you were
When I
6
was
to 8 to
6,
9 years
8,
old?
9, maybe. I don't even remember.
That's more tremendous.
Yeah, it is. That's one of the most tremendous things that you can realize in life. It's just like, wow, here we are. And I could have held grudges. I could have, did the whole alcoholic thing, whiteknucklinit.com. It's a website and a podcast. But I decided that I was going to write him a letter, and we can kind of get into that. I don't know. We probably shouldn't do any stories today, or maybe we should. I don't know. Justin's not here. It was his turn to tell the story, but
Right.
yeah, I can get into my story, I reckon. Just a little bit of it, especially how it has to do with me being a father and the relationship with my father. Moved away to Arizona when I was young, and I really loved my dad. I loved being, when I was young, I loved being around him.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just the relationship between him and my mom, I guess, didn't work, so they got divorced, obviously.
Yeah.
He remarried, moved, and I still wanted that father figure relationship, but it was just hard, and I would talk to him maybe a couple times a month, and then it went further, and then I would get mad at him for something, and I don't know. There was just a lot of miscommunication there, and I held some grudges that I shouldn't have, but I was young, and it is what it is. But fast forward to later in life, when I would talk to him, I would just try to tell him everything was cool, everything was good, and he came out to Dallas to see me when I lived there, and it was okay. When I had the liver failure and kidney failure, he came out to Arkansas a couple months after that. And I think the year before he came out to see me as well. But it was just like, I don't know. I was always trying to put on a front. Like I'm doing better than I really am.
Mm-hmm.
I was, especially the first time he came out, I was in the middle of battling this huge alcohol disease and was trying to act like I wasn't. It was a struggle. Then when you almost die from it, you can't really hide it anymore. So when he came out that second time, it was a lot different.
I think it's the trying to make your dad proud of you thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
To
know,
try to hide weakness.
and my older brother, Jerry, who doesn't speak with my father, he lives in LA and he's doing quite well for himself.
Mm-hmm.
And so you kind of feel like, well, I have a cooler job than my brother. I'm on the radio and I'm kind of a big deal here. And my brother's not that. His job pays him a lot more, but mine's a lot cooler and I'm a lot cooler person, man. So yeah, but to try to like at least be on the same playing field with them, with your brothers and with your siblings or whatever. So that was a bad realization. Then I moved back home, and then that's when the battles really start, and that's when the treatment centers and the mental hospitals and all that. And I would still talk to my father once in a while, and then I would kind of open up a little bit about, oh, well, I'm going to go to this other treatment center, or I relapsed, and I just got to figure this out, but I'm going to do it, and he didn't really know what to say, and he wasn't here to see it. He wasn't around me, to even help. And I started holding resentments for that. And one of the text messages I sent him when the last ones I sent him before I quit talking to him for a couple of years, I just let him have it. I told them, that how could you have 2 sons and leave them, and just real personal stuff, and just hitting below the belt. Again, I didn't know the story. I was just like, oh, he moved away because he doesn't love you.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case. But at that time, I just let him have it, and it was like, you weren't around for any of this. I'm glad Mom was, because if you were around, this wouldn't, who knows. And pretty much told him to go F himself. And I hit send, and I sent that. And he'd still text me a couple months later on my birthday and just said, happy birthday. And that's when I turned 40. And that Christmas, I think I sent a Merry Christmas, didn't get anything back, but I was on alcohol tether at the time. Just got released from jail at Christmas Eve. And he didn't write anything back. So I was like, whatever, man. And then I went through treatment. And when I was in treatment is when I realized I had abandonment issues. And being in radio, and I didn't move around all that much, but I did move away from family and were a place where I was alone. And alcohol made me feel not alone. And I didn't have to feel, if I was feeling sad, I could just drink, and after a couple bottles, some shots, hey, who cares? F them people. Mm-hmm. Which is not a good attitude to have, but it was my attitude. And so when I got out of treatment, I realized, I tell people that this is what I did. I took the abandonment issues and I started digging into them, and then realizing, my father leaving at a young age, I never had, and my stepdad's a great guy, man, love him, but I never had that father-son bond with him. And because he's not my father, he's a great dude, he's a great dad, perfect stepdad, couldn't ask for better. But I never had that father-son relationship. So that was something that I think goes right with the abandonment issues. And I know I needed to fix this situation with my father one way or another. But being 90 days clean, getting out of treatment, I was not ready. Mm-hmm. A lot of people try to, I figured out what it was. I got to dive right into this. No, you don't. Put the brakes on. Are you in a spot where you can handle this? And to that, I answered no. And so I built like this little closet in my head, and I just put this box up there. Ba-doop. That's my father issues I need to deal with. One way or another, I need to deal with them. And 2 years, that box sat up there. And I told Marnie, I was like, I think I'm ready to write my dad a letter. And it was when I was at Meijer taking back bottles. I was getting in the trunk for something, and something reminded me of him. And I was like thinking to myself, yeah, whatever, we'll screw him. I don't care if I ever talk to him again. And then I just paused, and I was like, wait a minute. That's the old Corey. That's the way Corey, the old Corey that I'm not trying to be anymore. That's the way he would think. And I'm supposed to be better than my father. I want Parker to be better than me. We're supposed to be better. We're supposed to be better people. So I'm like, wait a minute. If that's how people say that he acts, and this is how this and that, well, F them, I'll never talk to them again. I don't want to be like that. I want to be better. So I am going to write him a letter. So I told Marnie, I was like, I'm going to write him a letter. And she was like, are you ready for the response, or maybe the lack of response? I don't know. I'll never know. But I know I'm ready to write this letter and send it. And I wrote him a letter, and I told him that I was sorry for what I said. If it hurt his feelings, I'm not sorry for saying it, because that's how I felt. That I have 2 years clean, and the letter or the text I would have sent today would have been much different. Mm-hmm. Not a drunken rage. And I said that I hope that we can have some sort of relationship, whether we just text each other once a year on our birthdays, or maybe we talk once a month. I don't know what kind of relationship you even want to have. But I think going forward, for myself and for you, it'll be healthy if we had some type of communications and some type of relationship. And I sent it out, and I sent a picture of our wedding photo, told them that, we got married, and waited. A month goes by, nothing. Then Christmas comes, and I get a text from my stepmom. And she's like, Corey, what's your address? I thought, oh, okay, well, why? She's like, well, we sent you a package. Well, they returned it because the package that went to them had the address of the UPS store on it. So they sent a package to me, but they sent it to the UPS store. So they're like, that's not ours. So they sent it back. So I gave him the address, and then he sent me a letter, and he wrote it on like a notepad almost. So it wasn't a very long letter. It was maybe 3x5 piece of paper, and he filled it out, like the whole page, and it was good. And we kind of moved forward from there, and to see where I went, and that was 2021. Now it's 2024. A lot of things have happened since then, but he moved back to Michigan, and it's great. But if I would have, in that trunk, getting those pop cans, whatever made me think of them, if I would have still stuck with that F him, we wouldn't have had this magical Father's Day.
Right.
And it does feel so much better to let go of those grudges and let go of those things that I have no control over, which they tell you all the time in recovery. Mm-hmm. And to actually build this relationship as a sober person, like this is a new life. When you get into recovery, when you're actually in recovery, you are building a new you, a you that you have never met. Maybe as a kid I was on this trajectory. That's a word.
You nailed it though.
I know. I was going to hit his little, but
I was waiting for it. I wanted it.
But I was on the wrong page.
No.
But it's a whole new life that you're building. So just embrace it. And when those moments do pop in your head of F that, or think, is that the old me? Mm-hmm. Is that the person that used to drink a fifth a night or whatever and used to just wreck his body and relationships all across the board? That's that guy. I don't want to be that guy. And you have to make those conscious decisions and choices to move to this new person. And a lot of people don't like that because it's change, but it's that change which is going to get you where you need to go, because you A, need to change your life, and B, I don't think there is a B, but you just have to just trust me with this. Change shouldn't be scary. That's my B. You should embrace change and being uncomfortable, and doing those things that you don't want to do. My dad could have wrote a letter back and said, F off. He could have not sent one. But even after that month or whatever, where I was like, well, I haven't heard anything back, I was like, well, I feel better because I did what I needed to do. I said what I needed to say. I wasn't all like, oh, I wasn't beating myself up. Oh, Dad, sorry I sent that. I'm such a piece of shit. I'm such an asshole. Nope. Didn't even apologize for the words. Like I apologized if I hurt his feelings, but I didn't apologize for what I said because that's how I felt at the time. Again, I would have worded it much differently. I told him that, but it's, you got to start somewhere. And for us to be sitting there on Father's Day, and we didn't even plan it like that, it was special, man. And I got to give props to God for setting that one up, because he'll hit you out of left field with some stuff that you won't even see coming, and you'll look back and be like, wow, that was one of the most special times of my life. So thanks, Lord. Good looking out. Couldn't have set it up any better.
All that recovery story training came out through that.
Right.
That's interesting. The story you've had with your dad is like my story with my dad, just inverted. Like the opposite.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's always around in your shit.
Well, I mean, pretty much.
Enough tonight, you got to know him and you hate him.
No, but I had that moment where the God set up moment where, and it was, I know you meant the meeting that you guys just had on Father's Day, but I had the God set up moment where once I got my life clean and sober, and I was 1.5 years, creeping up on 2 years, I went and talked to my dad because he had burned a lot of bridges. He's a lot different man than what your dad was. He had burned a lot of bridges within the family and holds resentments against everybody because he doesn't take responsibility for his actions, and he has his own addiction struggles that he has that he refuses to do anything about.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, and he's in the stage like where I was at one point, where people are like, you need to get help, and then you would say that you were and then not. something that I went through before I actually got sober. But, yeah, so I went, and instead of writing a letter, I texted him, and the response I got was, "Who is this?" And I was like, "Oh, okay. Like, so you deleted my phone number. I see how that is." So that was a hit in the gut, but I felt like my purpose was to talk to him. I had to talk to him about our relationship because it had been rocky my entire life from the beginning. I was a rebellious kid because I didn't like how he was an abusive dad, and it was physically and emotionally. He's admitted that he took it out on me more as a kid, but he's never admitted it to me. He tells me my brothers that. But so I wanted to talk to him, and the biggest thing I wanted to talk to him about is my addiction affected his life tremendously.
Dilapidated.
We dilapidated it.
But the way that he's treated me my whole life has affected me as well. So once I told him who it was, and he was like, "Oh, hey, I deleted your phone number." I was like, I assumed when you didn't know who it was.
So he came out and said he deleted it.
Yeah, that was like the next thing. I was like, well, when you go, "Who are you?" and I know you've had my phone number before, I can assume that you deleted my phone number. So, we set up a time to talk, and I went and talked to him, and I went in and basically said, "Look, my addiction and the decisions that I've made in my life have affected you in a very negative way, and I need to apologize to you for that. I'm sorry that it took me so long to, quote unquote, figure it out and start to get on the right path." But then I had a but moment. I was like,
Uh-oh.
But
Nothing good follows but.
well, it didn't, but it was something that I had to say. And what I said was, I want to forgive you for the negative ways that you've treated me in the past before that. And that set him off. He didn't want to take any responsibility for any of that. And he got very angry, and like he would, like my whole life. And I was like, this is what I'm talking about, actually. Like, you're doing it right now. And it simmered him down just a little bit. And I just told him, I was like, look, I would like for my son and I to have a relationship with you, but until you can take some of the steps that I have and have measurable, tangible proof that you're trying to change yourself for the better, we're going to stay at a distance. And he just decided to have that distance. And I don't really see it as holding a grudge. I see it as he's had some behavior that has been very inappropriate and volatile and violent. And so until there's some way for him to prove that he's trying to not be that way anymore, the negative things, I see it more as protecting my peace and my son, because my son's seen him in some of this behavior, and that's not helping that at all. So,
well, it's your at-work therapist.
Yes.
I would say that those probably would have been better in two different whole conversations. Like, because it to me, this is what it felt like. It morphed into, and it's your fault. Hey, Dad, forgive me for all this, but it's your fault. You did this. So I think, again, as your at-work therapist, who is not a therapist but a professional radio broadcaster, I would have suggested maybe break those up into two different conversations. Like, get the one out and then walk away. 2 weeks later, you can go back and be like, Dad, boom, boom, and hit him with the other. But nobody likes to be called out. Nobody likes to have fingers pointed at us. Isn't that right, Justin? Nope, wrong page. I can't hit his dilapidated sound. But nobody likes to be called out for that kind of stuff. And especially when you know or you don't know what is actually going through his mind. You don't know the severity of the addiction that he is in or going through, it's hard to know what someone else is thinking. So
the thinking, yes, the severity of the addiction, like we're intimately close and seeing the use, kind of like they were with me, you know, my family. And so it was pretty, I don't want to say easy, but I saw what he was struggling with. And so I guess it was kind of a rip the Band-Aid off moment. And I had to start being very real and honest with myself. So that's just what I took with me is, and I didn't want to start it with, hey, all of this is your fault. Because I thought I overthought this because I didn't want to do it. Like I've got a lot of, I'm just going to say, trauma with my dad from when I was really little. So when he gets angry like that, I'm that little kid hiding under the table because mom and dad are arguing and throwing stuff across the house.
right.
You know, I start shaking and it's like trying to push through it. So to stare that in the face, you know, yeah, I was a 35-year-old man, but it's like transporting me back. And I didn't want to start throwing stuff at him first. I want to say, hey, look, I've screwed up and I want to take responsibility for that. But you've screwed up too. And all I'm saying is that I'm working on forgiving you, but to protect my son and myself until something happens, until you do something, which I didn't feel like this was out of line because everybody in my family basically said the same thing to me until I got sober. Like, we're pushing you away until you can be a healthy person to be around.
Right. There's no bad thing for laying boundaries down for you and your family. And I was about to commend you for having those boundaries because you don't want your father around this one. But there was also, in my opinion, unreal expectations placed on him. Like, you need to do this, and you need to show me this. He doesn't need to do shit. Now, if he wants to be around your son, he knows what he has to do.
Yeah.
But those are things that he has to do himself. You know, like, you have no control over what other people do unless you, you know, have a basement and some duct tape. That's it. You know, you can just control what you can control. And that is laying those boundaries down, saying your piece to him. Sorry that, you know, that my addiction affected your life negatively. I apologize. I was an addiction. You know, I am in a better place now. You know, you don't even have to say that you were a piece of crap because of that, because, you know, it was addiction. It's not the same Mitchell. You know, right. I wasn't the same Corey when I was addicted to alcohol and drugs. Is a whole different person. So I kind of, when I do apologize for things in the past, I don't really, maybe I don't apologize for things in the past. I don't know, because, you know, because I can only say I'm sorry so many times, and then I just kind of move on. And it was told to me the only way you can really say you're sorry is by changing and showing this new person is who you are, and that is a way you can show you're sorry. So I guess I don't really apologize for things in the past. I remember them.
That's the way that it was kind of shown to me. I think my therapist might have said it in my recovery program I got sober with, was measurable, tangible proof. That's changed behavior. That's not just words, that's actions. And that's a buildup of actions where you have, like, now a pile of proof of, this is what I do now.
Yep.
This is where my personality is changing to. And so I'm not trying to control what he does, because 100% what you said, I can't control anything that another person does, but I can control the safety of my child's environment. Yep. And so I told him, just like everybody told me, you know, if you want to be a part of this, this is what we need to see. And that's basically what it was.
Right. And that never got me sober. When my sister was like, you can't see your nephews until you're sober.
Yeah.
Well, sober for what? A year, a month? I could put some months together. You know, I really wanted to be. I didn't understand it. I didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel, you know, and a lot of us have control issues. We want to control everything in the situations. We want to know the outcome every time. Mm-hmm. Before I would freak out, it would bring me anxiety to think, okay, well, what am I going to do? Where's my future going? Am I going to go back into radio? Am I going to go back to school? Like, what am I doing? What do I really want to do? I have no idea. And then God just kind of came and took over and was like, I got you. I have this whole plan for you. Just trust me. And they say, let go and let God and just follow this path that people laughed at me. People told me, no, you can't do this. This is stupid. My mom was even like, you can't drive your own car. You can't take people to treatment in your own car. That's your gas money. Those are miles on your car. You shouldn't be doing that. Okay, Mom, thanks for the advice. Nope, I'm doing it. You know, like I was on a mission. I had a plan, and not everybody could see it. I couldn't even see it sometimes. I just remember so many times I'd be driving to Alpena, which is on the other side of Michigan. And I remember one morning I was driving, and the sun was coming up, and it was all pink. And it was just beautiful. And I was like, you know what, God, this is awesome. You know, I'm glad I could get up at 5 a.m. today. There was times where I couldn't get up at all. And to go help somebody out and go get somebody and bring them back home from treatment. But I was like, Lord, like, please, can you give me a sign of what's going on? You know, like, I mean, I know you did this whole COVID thing just for me, you know, so that I could get my feet on the ground and actually be able to draw unemployment and then be able to take people to and from treatment, you know, without having to get a paycheck. Because I couldn't have done it otherwise.
You're on your way to sunrise.
Seeing the sunrise.
Seeing the sunrise.
God,
and he was
good.
saying this is the sunrise
God, you good.
of what we got going on now today.
Yeah. And
boom.
He was just like,
he's like, just watch.
just wait a little longer. You know, I want to see that you have faith in me. And then I'm going to come through for you. And it was down to the wire, man. Like, it was seriously like one more week and I'd have been out trying to get a job somewhere else and I would have given up.
Walmart.
I don't think I would have given up. But yeah, I was even telling Marnie, like, I got to get a job at Walmart or something. Like, I have to get a job. And then boom, you know, he came through. But it was something I never doubted. I just knew, like, it's all going to work out how it's supposed to.
And it hasn't stopped either, because even since you started to find some success in what you're doing right now, there have been doubts along the way. And then something works out, you know?
Yeah.
It's been really cool. It's been cool for me being a part of it. It's because I'm not really on the outside looking in, but the outside of looking in from your personal experience, it's really cool to see, you know, how God works and how he's been pulling it together.
Yeah.
You know, the real father, the real daddy.
Yes. Giving props to God, our real father, on Father's Day, after Father's Day weekend. Sorry, we're a little late.
That's kind of something I had a thought on Father's Day. You know, I was driving home from getting maybe stood up, and there was a beautiful sunset, and I was like, you know, I've been doing a lot with my spirituality and my relationship with God, and just how Jesus always refers to him as the Father, but whatever. You know, that's how it works in the Bible. Anyway, I was like, Father's Day for me is a day where I think about that more, my Heavenly Father, because he's been more of a real father than anybody else has.
Aww. Speaking of,
so you're just gonna hit nope?
No. I was gonna go with this.
Let's look at the DEA files with Mitchell O'Brien.
All right, so probably not a lot of information to report on since last week.
No, we kind of already gave like all the interaction. So I don't know if this was. Yeah, we talked about it before we left, before the last episode, but we put out a bunch. He's looking for a job. My 14-year-old son is looking for his first job, and so he went to go spend some time with his mom's, which he doesn't do very often. And so, like a week or two, we're in the beginning of week 2, and we put out a couple job applications before he left. And the stipulation was, you know, he got to be there for a week, but if he got an interview, I'm gonna go get him and bring him home. And they wanted him for a little bit longer than that, and I was like, that's cool. Like, you can have him all summer if you want to, but he really wants to get a job. Like, he's pushing the ambition for this, which is nice because ambition has been in a little bit low supply over there. So it's nice to see him doing that. He hasn't gotten any callbacks yet, but he did remember me on Father's Day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, with his very heartfelt text message, which for me was enough. I was like, hey, this might be, You know, ever since like early elementary school where they had to make like daddy a thing. Like, you know that they still make like clay mugs to give to your dad and stuff because they can't do ashtrays anymore. Yeah, so I have this clay mug sitting on my shelf. That was a Father's Day gift from school. A picture on my wall that he drew.
Yeah, but that's great.
Yeah. I didn't save all that stuff. Like my mom's like trying to put stuff in files, like every single thing he ever brings home.
Oh, geez.
And I'm like, he's not gonna care about this. But the ones that had more meaning behind them, like it was a Father's Day thing. I have a couple of those, and so that hasn't been a thing for the last couple of years. He's kind of dropped down to that. He's getting a little too cool for school and dad. So to actually get that text message from a kid that I can barely get to text me back normally, it meant something.
So what's it like? Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
What's it like as a single father? It's summertime, and the kid who you have custody of, and I think this is a flip situation. I think for most people, I think for most dads, they don't have the full custody, so they get the kid in the summer. But there are dads out there too that are in the same boat where now you're got a couple weeks or a couple months or whatever it is break. You feel sad. I mean, your son is older now; he's 14. Are you more like, all right, now I can go on blind dates, or like, how do you feel?
It's kind of neutral. I've always had people actually ask me this, and they're like, you have him so much. Aren't you happy when you get a break? And I'm like, no, especially when he was younger. I was like, no, I miss him. Like, he's my dude. So, and yeah, I work a lot, so I still only see him part of the day and whatever. Get to spend some time on the weekends. So it's not like we're with each other 24/7. So it's more neutral now, though. He's starting to get his own personality. He's got his own plans. He's trying to hang out with friends and trying to get a job, and so I get to take a little bit of me time. There was time in there, you know, due to either addiction or when that wasn't flaring up, just trying to hold down a job that I didn't get to do a lot for me because it was either work, addiction, fathering. No,
Right.
Hopefully, usually not in that order. But yeah, so it's just chill, I guess, would be the answer. It's whatever. Just going with the flow.
Good answer.
It's now time to turn to the brat corner
I'm gonna be sliding. You mean that's what makes me want to take the next bitch car?
with Justin Burke.
What now? I'm sorry, I didn't get that. Are you speaking English?
Dilapidated.
No.
Now it's time for the crib check with Corey Winfield.
Okay.
Oh, 4-week-old baby. He gets bigger every day.
Fresh, yeah.
I swear to you, every time I see him, his little face gets bigger. He's crying a lot. And they say 6 weeks is when the crying terror starts. Oh boy. I've noticed that, and you said something very similar, is there's really no me time. And for someone who's been going, 46 years with just me time. And of course, getting married, you kind of break away from some of the me time, but I want to go do this, or I want to put this up, or I want to run and do that. And it's like, nope, you're not doing any of that. You're changing a diaper. You're hanging out with your son, which most of the time is pretty good. I think that if I can get over the whole me, which I don't know. I don't want to say get over it because it's not like I'm having resentments because I have to, hold my son, but it's still great. It's amazing. He's out of the newborn diapers now, like he'll never wear a newborn diaper again in his life. Like we won't get that time back. Thank goodness. No, Moni's like, no, I love it. And she's kind of sad about it, but he is growing, and before I know it, he'll be 3 months, and he'll be laughing and smiling and giggling and making little noises, and I think that's when it'll be even more special, because right now it's like he's just there, pooping, peeing, crying, eating, sleeping. That's it. hit repeat and let's do it again. He'll try to look at you, and those moments are really great when he does. When he's just staring at you, and I start trying to just talk because I don't like awkward gazes. And so I think that makes him upset. So I start crying. I'm like, okay, Daddy, shut up. He just wants some quiet time, and I'm just like, no, I gotta fill void. Blah 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 blah.
Your radio coming out.
Yeah, I gotta fill it. No dead silence. Come on, man. No dead air.
Just talk, man.
Yeah, gotta do something. How you feeling today?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Message received.
It's crazy, man. It really is. And it's just accepting, like, this is my role now. And, Marnie, she's just been a champ. And I come home, I'm grumpy. And it's like, And she's like, here's your son. I'm like, I'm grumpy. House is a mess. Well, not a mess, but, like, we've had people working on our house, putting in, floors. Toilets break in and putting in, and then the cleaning people came to clean the floor on a hot ass day with every bug in northern Michigan at my door ready. It's like when I walked home, I walked into a spider web, and I'm like, these bugs. I'm bugs and Winfields don't mix.
That spider came in because the bugs were flying around. He was like, I know how much Mr. Winfield doesn't like bugs, so I'm gonna catch him before he gets here. And then he walked right through his net.
Yeah. And then I went out later to get a package that was outside, and I opened the door, and I opened the door to go outside. I walked through another spider web, and I just feel like they're on me all the time, man. Like, so it's just, I don't know. I just need to do a better job of being there. Because like I said, Marnie, man, she's been a champ, but at some point she's going to be like, you need to step up, bro.
I have a challenge for you.
Uh-oh.
Parker, somewhere between the age of 9 and 12, gets in trouble for something.
Okay.
Good or bad. And then you pretend to, out of a fit of rage, say, the toilet never even broke until you were born. Or you were here. Something like that. Like he plugs the toilet or something. It'd be hilarious.
I'm so confused by this. I don't even know what you're saying.
Once you've had so many things going on, and then your toilet broke because the flooring guy didn't set it up right. And like, I just feel like that would be hilarious down the road. Sorry. I don't know.
I don't even have a drop for this.
I'll try and recover here. Yeah. There you go. I'll try and recover here. So one thing, 14 years later, I will say, because you're in it now, this zone of newbornhood, you're like transferring out of it. Mm-hmm. My favorite memory of the 37 years I've been alive was the nights that my son was super small, super, close to newborn. Yep, that time. And he couldn't sleep. He wasn't super fussy, but there were times where he couldn't sleep. And I would walk the hallway with him in my arms in our apartment, and I would hum to him. And I'm terrible at singing, so I would just pick a song that I remembered that was somewhat of a kid song and just hum it to him. And there were times I did that for hours, and I realized eventually that I was doing it and he was already asleep, and I just kept doing it. And I look back on that and I miss that so much. Like those nights where I had to work the next day, but I wasn't even thinking about that. I just had my son in my arms, and I was trying to soothe him to go to sleep, and just spending that time and how long it went and how it happened more than once. And that's the best memory I have in my entire life. Like my most cherished memory.
Aww.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like on Father's Day, like the night before, it was like 12:30 or something. And I grab him, and he's screaming, crying, and I take him downstairs, and it was about 30 minutes. I took him back upstairs, changed him, brought him back downstairs, and we started rocking, and he just kind of fell out to sleep. And what you didn't have 14 years ago was Amazon shopping.
Right.
And so instead of humming to him after he was already asleep, I just started buying myself Father's Day gifts. 'Cause why not, man? You know, like that was the Father's Day gift that he was giving me. But I know what you're saying, and those moments I already do appreciate. You know, when Marnie takes a shower or something, and I was holding him, I think it was last week, and I might have talked about it on the podcast even. You know, I'm just staring into his little eyes. He's looking up at me, and I just wonder, like, is he going to be a little asshole, or is he going to be somebody special, or is he? What's he going to do? Is he going to fall in love? And when he's crying, am I going to be there for him? You know, and say, "You got to lay with him first, son." You know, like you weren't in love. You know, whatever accent I'm going to be practicing with him. But you know, like, what's going to happen? You know, when he brings his first report card home, and there's an A on there, and he's so proud. You know, like, are we going to send him to preschool?
Right. I recommend preschool, by the way.
Oh, my God. Do you know how much that is?
I didn't do it, but that's why I recommend it. My son was raised by wolves, and by wolves, I mean my brothers. So he got to preschool, and he thought everybody was a big kid that he could just roughhouse with. And I was
Come here.
learning.
It's my sandwich.
So Logan was rough with the student today,
Giving
and he
him
was very
nuggies.
sorry. Over and over and over again, kindergarten.
Yeah. So my report is I'm hanging in there, but I'm noticing things about myself that some I like and some I don't like.
Yeah.
And sleep, I think if I could just get some sleep.
You didn't really sleep before having
I
him, though.
didn't, which comes into play here because I'm still waking up every hour on the hour. And then now you add crying in there every half hour. So it's just like, I went to my doctor yesterday and he's like, "You got sleep apnea." I was like, "Yeah, that's what they said, but I don't stop breathing anymore. But I wake up every hour." He's like, "Yeah, that's still sleep apnea. You don't have to stop breathing." And I'm like, "Okay, well, I don't know what to do. Now I got a baby thrown in the mix." So, he's
Dude.
like, "Well, that's probably most of your problem is you're not sleeping."
Getting a sleep machine for sleep apnea is one of the best things I've ever done in my entire life.
Yeah, until you open your mouth.
You learn not to.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. And you're like, "Oh my!" And it wakes you right up.
There's this thing you can do where you like open your airwaves and it's trying to make you breathe in, but it's just like, and then it's coming out your mouth, in your nose and out your mouth.
So you wear one of those?
Oh yeah, every night. I don't sleep without it.
Dang.
Yeah. I used to do the stop breathing thing, and I've lost some weight, and I don't do that anymore, but I still snore pretty loud. And they used to try to make me wear one of them chin strap things, and those are super uncomfortable. I just eventually learned how to sleep with my mouth closed. I don't know. It's like something you do. So, yeah, I wear one every night, and I don't get good sleep without it. Yeah. It's real good for the dating scene.
I bet.
Hey, baby,
All right,
you want to
let's-
sleep next to Darth Vader
Time
tonight?
for daddy to go CPs. You stay at my house tonight. You're like this big old suitcase you're wheeling in. You're like, "What is that?" "Oh, it's just my sleep apnea machine."
I mean, it's smaller than podcasting board.
But you have, of course, that there too.
Yeah.
What? You're moving in? Nah, I'm just spending the night, girl. Don't be tripping.
A toothbrush and this suitcase full of things that I need to sleep in.
All right, kiss me goodnight. Good ones, then.
We can talk more about that another time.
Yeah. But that's the report for me, and that'll do it for the Recovery Dads podcast, episode number 2. So thanks for listening. RecoveryDads.com is our website. If you have any questions or want to chime in or even be a special guest, we'd love to have you.
Yeah.
Email Mitchell at 217recovery.com.
Do it.
Until next time, we'll see you.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Recovery Dads podcast. For more about Recovery Dads and to watch videos of the crew, log on to recoverydads.com.